Hello, folks. Welcome to the Counting Sheep Podcast, episode 39. My name is Ruth, and I will be your host. And this is my podcast about all things fibery that I get up to in and around my small sheep farm in Vermont, where I live with my husband. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you came, and I hope you find something that is interesting to you here on my channel. So like I said, all things fibery, that includes crocheting, knitting, and spinning mostly. Those of you who are coming back, welcome back. I hit 300 subscribers this week and it made me so happy. Thank you so much for watching and commenting and also liking the channel. All that stuff helps out us YouTubers. So yeah, it is in Vermont today, about to hit 50 degrees. I had a sweater on and it got to be way too much for me. So I put the shawl on, but now I'm even starting to feel a little warm in my Stephen West shawl. So this is kind of coming to you probably on the last day of the year. Not sure about my upload speed right now, but I'm going to try to get it uploaded tonight, which is Monday, December 30th. Anyway, I wanted to kind of sort of recap some things that I've been thinking about. I had set some intentions at the beginning of this year. I just wanted to kind of go over them real fast. I don't like to set resolutions. I like to set intentions. And that way it gives me a little bit of leeway, gives me some grace. And I give myself some grace for not necessarily meeting certain goals. I tend to set kind of lofty goals for myself. And I know sometimes either time or circumstance doesn't allow for the achievement of those goals. And that's where I give myself a little grace. But anyway, I'm waxing philosophical. I'm just going to flip back my little journal here. I set, let's see, it looks like I set 6 intentions for fibery things and 3 intentions for non-fibery things. So I'm just going to gloss over the non-fibery stuff because not a lot of people are interested in that kind of thing. I had said I wanted to watch more movies like classics and that sort of thing. And we did do that, although we started the year strong, and then like everything, we kind of petered out toward the middle of the year. Although I must say I've watched more movies in a calendar year than I have in the past. The second intention was read 50 books, and I had set that because the prior year, in 2023, I had read 50, and I'm happy to say that at current count, I think I'm at 62. So that's really good. I want to keep that intention for this coming year again, because I like to read. I do listen to a lot of books so that I can knit and crochet at the same time, or spin. And so I think that's a good intention to keep. And then the third one was getting better at YouTube, which I have to say I have made some small and slow improvements in, in recording and uploading, and I learn as I go, and that's kind of how it's been with me in YouTube. But I have to say that I have learned a lot and continue to learn, so that's good. So that one I'll probably keep in the new year as well, that intention. My fibery intentions, my first one I have down here was to learn Portuguese or Turkish style knitting. And unfortunately, I did not do that this year. So yeah, so I'll have to relook at that again and see if I want to put that on my list again. And then maybe in the new year, the next time I podcast, I'll have a new set or a new list of things for the fibery type stuff. My second fibery intention was to use my Laguerre sock machine, which I think I did once, and it was when I was with a couple of ladies down at Six Loose Ladies. it's not exactly a portable machine. So I really think it's just going to take me sitting down with a book and really learning that on my own. I've been shown how to use it a couple of times, and it's just a matter of practice. I know it is. So that's another intention that may gravitate over to the new year. The third one was to make a ranunculus, and I did do that. Yay. And then I also wanted to learn Romanian point lace. I had some kits. That has been a slow starter too for me. It is a very small type of crochet that you do for Romanian point lace. But once again, maybe something that carries over into this year again. So number 5, I have continuation from 2023, dig out the crocheting and knitting whips. I've certainly done that, as well as start new stuff. So, you know, kind of that's the way that goes. The number 6 was to use this crochet calendar. And if you've been with me for a while, back in January and February, I was showing you this calendar. It's not dated in terms of a year. It's just got a new, like a stitch for each day of the year, and you just flip them over. And my intention was to use up all this piece fleece yarn that I had. I had acquired it because I thought at one time I wanted to do a temperature blanket, and that went by the wayside. So did this project. What I wanted to do was make a blanket and use these patterns every single day of the year to add on to it. And I know that would have probably amounted to a very huge blanket. And so I quit pretty early on. Aside from the fact that the blanket was starting to go a little wonky, and no matter how much I tried to block it out, it didn't really want to block. So, but what took its place was another blanket. And for the eagle-eyed of you who are watching Vlogmas, you might have seen it on my love seat downstairs in the living room. I just finished it up. This was a club kit, crochet club kit through Jimmy Bean's Wools, and they are out in Reno, Nevada. I got to visit Jimmy Bean's a couple years back when we were out in Nevada, my husband and I, and it's quite an operation out there. And they do like kits throughout the year. Like you do a shawl kit. They have their new blanket kits up now, knit or crochet. There's also shawls, knit or crochet. And I'm not quite sure what else they have right now. Honestly, it's come across my radar, but I haven't really read the email because I had not intended to do a monthly kit again. Not that this wasn't pleasant. It was very pleasant, and it's been kind of running in the background. I haven't shown it here on the podcast because it's been in bits and pieces. Also, I was a little leery about whether I could keep up with it, but it was fine. It was just fine. So the premise behind this is every month they send you a skein of yarn and a pattern card for part of a blanket. And this blanket that I did, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It's called Wildflower Crochet Blanket. And the skeins of yarn that were sent you were worsted weight Madeline Tosh blanket. And it was in a beautiful colorway. You had a choice of different colorways to pick from in the knitting and the crochet. And I chose kind of a colorway that would go well with the furniture in my living room because I wanted it to be a throw blanket. At any rate, let me show it to you. I'm also going to try to put a picture up too because it's hard to show a blanket on video right now because of just the screen and that sort of thing. But like I said, you get a pattern card and a skein of yarn every month. And I'm just going to hold it up real quick. Just make sure I'm showing you the right side here. So there's a center motif to this, kind of a center medallion. And then there are all these different crocheted squares around the medallion. And like I said, it's hard to show this, of course, on camera here. So I'm going to try to put a picture in to show it in all its glory and close up. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this. It is so pretty, and it goes so well in my decor for the living room. And it is a hefty blanket, I gotta tell you. And this will keep you warm whether you have the pellet stove on or not. So yeah, but I think this was called the Romantic colorway, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. Like I said, I've been at this project for a year now, and it was so nice when it came together. And once in a while, with the skeins of yarn, they would send you a little something. And I haven't sewn this in yet, but this was one of the little somethings that they sent out in one of the packages. So yeah, really enjoyed this. If you would like to do a blanket, and I have to tell you, the amount of crocheting you had to do each month, they chunked it out really nicely, and it was doable. You know, I like doing squares anyway. It's kind of a fast, instant gratification, like you get them done, boom, done, you know, and then, you know, I was just saving the squares in a bag. And then about August, I think August was the month we kind of attached all of them together and squared off the circle and that sort of thing. But the patterns are great. They walk you through everything. You not only get the card in the mail, but you also get electronic instructions too that you can download from their website. So yeah, so that's my wildflower crochet blanket that's been happening in the background that I haven't been sharing with you, only because of the nature of the project. But yeah, I'm glad I got a blanket done for 2024 anyway, even if it wasn't the one that I intended to do in the first place. So that was my intentions for last year. Like I said, I'm still mulling over my intentions for this coming year, but they will be similar. If you watched Vlogmas, I did Vlogmas this year. One of the advent calendars that I had was called the Hygge calendar, which is still going on until tomorrow. And the last week of gifts or packages or whatever would have you that I've been opening up have been kind of candies and little bits and pieces of things. But one of the things that I opened up was this gratitude card. And what it says is, write down 3 things you are thankful for to keep in mind in the coming year. So I want to take today and tomorrow to mull that over. I have so many things to be thankful for, and just to narrow it down to 3 is hard, but maybe the most important 3 I can put. And they say, post this somewhere where you will be able to see it. So that's my refrigerator door. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of a nice idea, you know, to write down a couple of things that you're grateful for, so that you can kind of review and reflect on it throughout the year. All right, I am going to get into the fibery content finally. I've been talking now for a while. If you've been with me for Vlogmas and all that good stuff, you'll know that I've been working on a shawl called the Granny Stripe Shawl, and that is the pattern. I have been using minis from the Unique Sheep, the Advent calendar, which is now completed. It completed on the 24th. And I just want to show you, I did put the border on. This is not quite done yet. I still have a few more ends to work in, but here is the shawl in all its gorgeousness. Really quite beautiful. There is a border on it. I used some yarn that I had from an old Advent that I thought was pretty neutral, but had a little bit of speckly. Sorry about the dog hair. It really shows up on camera. Yeah, and so it had this underlying beige with some brown in it, which I thought worked really well with the rest of the colors. And yeah, I'm gonna just, it fits so well over my shoulders, and it's really good. And I would wear it today if it weren't for some of these ends that I have to weave in, but they don't take too much time. I find like I do 10, I take a break and go do something else, and then I come back and do 10 more, and before you know it, it's done. So if you're not a fan of weaving in ends, that's maybe a strategy you can use to get that job done. So yeah, what else do I need to tell you about this? This is a fingering weight shawl, but I'm sure you could use other weights of yarn if you want, and it just would be bigger and come down further on your arms. And yeah, it's got some nice shoulder shaping in here, so it really stays on well. Yeah, so, and unique sheep again, yarn. So yeah, granny stripe shawl. And I forgot to tell you, this is Moanne from Crochet Object Knitting. She is a podcaster herself, and I encourage you to check her out here on the YouTubes. All right, moving on. I have a confession to make. If you recall my last podcast and probably the one before that, I was working on another of Courtney Clark's patterns. This is called the Roxy sweater, done in DK. And I got down to about here, both front and back, because this is done top down. And found that I went and tried it on, as I always do, and found that there was this big amount of material right in front, like it gapped open. So it was like this. So obviously this measurement across here was too big for me on the sweater. So before I went any further, I wanted to correct that. So I frogged it back, and then realized that while I was frogging it back, I had to take it back quite a bit of ways. And at that point, I was just kind of frustrated. I was looking at the pattern, trying to figure out if I could use one piece of one size and a piece of another size. And that's when, unfortunately for me, I get distracted. And as you recall, I saw this pattern, which it just came out. This is the Kira Zip. It's also done in DK. And you know what's coming. I started this. I did swatch it. And I have gone down a needle, a hook size, just because I want to play it safe. She incorporates a lot of ease into her patterns, and I think that's what happened with this, was that the ease was just too great for the size that I had chosen for myself. So anyway, this thing is addicting. It's got a variation of a front post stitch to it, and the texture is just wild. I love it. Another top-down sweater. I'm using the same yarn that I was using for the Roxy sweater. This is the Barocco Vintage DK. Yeah, this is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. And I'm just going to show you this. I just connected under the arms, and this does get a zipper, so stay tuned. Yeah, so I picked a smaller size too, like one size down, just because I like some ease, but I don't like tons of ease. I think tons of ease does not look good on me. So anyway, once again, you start up here and work your way down. This is the back. So you can kind of see the texture there. I am just loving that. Of course, that's only in the bodice, that texture. And then she goes into a very plain stitch for the body. So this should really cook right along. This didn't take all that long for me to crochet. I have gone down to, let's see, that's not the right hook. I think I've gone down to a 3.5 millimeter hook, and the pattern calls for a 3.75 millimeter hook. So it's very important to check your gauge. Where have you heard that before? And also try things on as you go. I mean, that's so crucial, especially for me. And that's why the top-down construction appeals to me so much, because it just makes it easier for one to try things on. So yeah, that's the Kira quarter zip, rather, pattern. And yeah, stay tuned. This thing's going like a house on fire. It helps that it's an interesting stitch too. It kind of keeps my my attention. So, and finally in crochet, I just wanted to show you the progress I was doing on the perfect glove. Let me see if I can find. I don't think I have a really good picture of it. This is a pattern by Be Hooked. I don't think I brought the pattern up here. But anyway, it's Be Hooked. She also has a channel here on YouTube. I think her first name is Brianna. So this is my right glove. I think I showed that to you before. This is done in central single crochet, otherwise known as waistcoat stitch. And on my second glove, I've only gotten up the thumb done. I am going to work on this though this week. Got some travel time, gonna go see family after the holidays. And so time in the car, and I should be able to knock this off, especially since hopefully the weather will get colder again and I can use these. So this is Yarnadelic Sport by John Arbin Textiles, and the name of the color is Sunflowers in My Garden. And so yeah, this is project in motion. The only thing that trips me up with this is the central single crochet. I've kind of made my peace with it, but I still have to remind myself to stay loose with it. Otherwise, it will just torture you. Trying to get your hook into the middle of a single crochet, if it's not loose, is really daunting. So yeah, so that's my gloves. All right, and moving on to knitting now, I wanted to show you my progress on my halftone first. Not too much progress, but progress that I am proud of. I did get one of the sleeve stitches on the needles, and I'm almost done with the color work. Let me see if I can get myself untangled here. Every time you pull something out of a bag, it's always kind of a mystery. Like a cat, the cat's been at it, but my cat, thankfully, Dora leaves everything alone. She's never really been interested in yarn. All right, so there is the sleeve from what you can see of it. So it's just the color work is very similar or the same as to the body color work. And just finishing up these big bubbles here. And then there's just a few more rows, and then we'll start to decrease down toward the wrist. There's the other side, and there is the full effect here. And like I've said before, the gray color is off the cones, so it still has spinning oil in it. So it's going to look a little different or wonkier next to something that's in the ball, which is the blue color. But yeah, so that's working along quite nicely. Enjoying that color work a lot. It's just a little bit of color work and then you're back to a solid color. So all right, and then let's see, finally I wanted to show you my progress on my Nordic Nights. Oh, did I tell you this is, I forget details sometimes. The halftone is by Kim of Indigo Knits, and that's what it looks like when it's done. I'm using J&S 2-ply for the halftone. I think that's all. And then finally here is, of course, my Nordic Nights. This is by Jen Steingass. Pretty. Every sweater she comes out with is just a work of art. I've made some progress on the color work. As you know, I'm on the yoke, and so that is the largest amount of stitches that you're working on. And I think I have about 12 more rows to go on the color work for the yoke, and then we'll split for the sleeves. But I just wanted to show you the way this is coming out. It's getting easier and easier to see the pattern. Of course, I'm always close up to it, and so I always have to take a step back to look at everything in its glory. But so yeah, it's coming along very nicely and really enjoying it. The green for the trees in this pattern is a hand spun that I spun from hanks that were dyed by Dirty Girl Fiber in Vermont. And the yellow here, or this mustard color, is from Maine Yarn and Fiber Supply. This is their Sacco base, which is a 100%, or no, it's 80% superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. And this colorway name is called Dutch Mood. So yeah, fingering weight. So that also adds to the time that you put in, but really enjoying the color work on this though. It's a lot of fun. She does put some back shaping rows in the back to lift the back up a little bit. So yeah, this is the front actually, the front. So yeah, I don't think you can lose anything with this Jen Steingass pattern. She has quite the following, and her patterns are very well written. Just one more thing with New Year's coming up. I know some people practice the tradition of a Christmas Eve cast on or a Christmas Day cast on. That wasn't in the cards for me, but I thought I would start my own tradition of a New Year's Eve cast on or New Year's Day, if you're busy on New Year's Eve. And so I have decided to, I even got everything into my project bag. This is a project bag my friend Tammy gave me, and so cute. And this is, if you recall, I got this at Rhinebeck. This was a kit. I bought this kit along with the gal I was walking through Rhinebeck with, walking through the fair with her, and it's called the Inspire Mitts. And this is by Catherine Ashley Wright. So you get the pattern card and you get the actually 5 colors. These are my colors, and of course everything is like coming apart. But this is, you could choose different colors for your kit. They had quite a few kits there, but anyway, these are my colors, and I've wound them up already. And hoping to cast these on. I think what I will do is divide these in half so that I can do these mitts 2 at a time, just like I do my socks. So yeah, looking forward to casting on something for the new year, just kind of a reset, or kind of a new start, a new beginning, to symbolize the new year. So I even have my needles in here. These are from the Mindful collection. When I went to Webb's this past summer, I picked up a set of size 4 needles, and then the cords, of course. These swivel really well, so they're kind of made for magic loop. And that's what I intend to do with those. So stay tuned. I'm hoping to get that quiet time to cast these on. And then finally, in spinning, I just wanted to show you what I finished up here. And you may remember that I started this past summer as well. This was a hank of domestic Polworth combed top that I had in my stash for a long time, and like one of my intentions was to pull out all that stash and do something with it. This is from Gnome Spun, and I really don't think they're in business anymore, but I could be wrong. But this was this wild color, Heart of the Fire, and I did manage to get it spun up and plied. And I have about 220 yards, and this is like a worsted weight, pretty thick. So I'm thinking a hat. I have a jacket that is maroon color, so that it would go really well with my jacket. So, and it's fun to just take about, what is this? This was 4 ounces of fiber, and make a small project, and then knit a small project or crochet a small project. And there's a lot of satisfaction to that. So yeah, so that's my Heart of the Fire colorway. And now that my e-spinner has been freed up, there'll be another project on there come the new year. So stay tuned, all you spinners out there. All right, I think that's going to do it for me. I want to wish everyone a very happy new year, and wish you good health in the new year. Health is so important. And yeah, I'm going to continue to podcast. And welcome your comments and your likes and subscribes if you like what you see. There will be more in the new year. Keep crafting, everyone, and I will see you soon in the new year. Happy New Year, everyone.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of thine. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. room.